Hello, people of the internet. So today we're going to sit back, relax, and listen to me rant about something because this is what we got today. Um, Something I've been noticing a lot lately in truck communities. I guess it's camping season. I don't keep up with campers. It's tons of pictures, whether it's owners asking questions and they took pictures of their setup, or it's people taking pictures out in the wild. They've seen it in a parking lot somewhere, going down the road, something like that, of vehicles hauling campers that exceed the vehicle's ability. In some cases, maybe the owner of the vehicle doesn't know. Maybe they're going off of somebody else's advice or input. Um, Maybe they were misled somewhere. Doesn't really matter. The answer that I keep seeing pop up all over the place, everywhere, is just airbag it, bro. And that's so stupid. Um, and I am in this. I am not talking about like uh, full suspension overhaul and putting air ride suspension on a vehicle. I am talking about using uh, airbags to compensate for your vehicle's lack of load carrying capabilities. If that makes sense. Uh, it's really bad advice. It's especially bad advice when the guys are all, because there's always, and I don't care what size vehicle it is, that there's always somebody like and you know I put a set of bags in the back of mine and now I haul this, that, and the other. And if you look up the specs on whatever they're hauling, it's always at it's always right at or just above whatever the vehicle is rated for. If you're dealing with something that's rated for 10,000 pounds, then the whatever they have has an empty weight of 8,500, 9,000 pounds, 11,000 pounds, somewhere in that range. And it's always this way, and that's bad. You're using the vehicle outside of its connected component ability. You've exceeded what the brakes are rated for. You've exceeded what, if you have a modern vehicle, you've exceeded what your traction control, stability control, ABS, all of these functions can understand and handle. And I know a lot of people don't like those functions. I am pro ABS, because not everybody's Michael Schumacher. You ain't out braking the computer. But for the most part, if you're doing it and you listen to these guys, it's a bad idea. It's a danger to everybody. So when should you put airbags in the back of a? I'm going to stick with trucks. I know people use them for SUVs. I'm going to stick with trucks. And SUVs are truck platform, so go for it. You should use them when you have altered the factory suspension. Now, if you have worn out suspension and you put them on there, yeah, I'd recommend getting new springs. But yeah, um, but like if you put a level kit in, so it gets rid of the nose down, ass up, and it levels it, and you put a load in the back, it's nose high, ass down. Well, you're not exceeding the vehicle's intended use, but you have altered the suspension. It makes things change. Go ahead and put a set of airbags in the back to bump up the back end and get you going straight. If you've lowered the suspension for looks, if you've lifted the suspension for looks, now there is a limit in that. At some point, you have lifted so far that there's the point of no return, and at other points you've lowered. You can go to the extremes on it, and then it's not a good idea to do this either. But if you're dealing with somebody that's got a basic like 2 to 4 inch lift on something, yeah, you can put a set of bags in the back to compensate. 4-inch drop on a truck. Yeah, again, you can put a set of bags in the back to give you some load capacity back. That's fine. If you're doing it because you know that your load is 1,000, 2,000 pounds over the vehicle's capacity, you're a fool. That's where it's a problem. And that's where the advice should never be given to do that. I've worked with guys that were that way. They got half-ton pickup truck, and they go and throw a set of airbags in the back of it to offset their toy hauler. They're pulling a big camper with a couple of ATVs in the back of it, and a couple of dirt bikes on top of that, and they think nothing in the world of it. Yeah, I got my wife, my kid, my dog. I got, a bunch of stuff in the bed. I've got the camper all outfitted and decked out. I've already stopped and filled up my water tank. I got my propane on it. I'm good to go. And they're, 2,500 pounds over what that truck should be hauling. And they know it, and they're okay with it, and they think there's absolutely nothing wrong. Should probably tell you something about the person. Been seeing it though a lot lately in Jeep Gladiators. They've been popping them. I'm on a lot of Jeep forums, so I see a lot of Jeep stuff. And the new Gladiator, and they're showing the camper, and you can see the manufacturer and you can see the model, so you can obviously go and find the information on specs on the internet. The Gladiator's got like a max tow capacity of something 7,700 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. And like all trucks, that's when properly equipped, right? It's not every single one. That's when properly equipped. So I've been seeing a lot of these Dutchman campers, and I apologize. I am not into camping, RVing, trailering in general. So if I get some stuff wrong, that's on me. I have looked it up, but that's on me. And anyway, it's these Dutchman campers, and they're like Aztec Trail or Ozark Trail or something like that, some kind of trail. So I went to the site and I looked it up. The lightest option in that is a couple 100 pounds shy of what the Gladiator tops out at. You should never be towing that with a Gladiator, right? It just shouldn't happen at all. You need to step up into a half-ton or maybe even a 3/4-ton truck. But tons of advice from people. Oh, just put airbags in it. Just put airbags in the back. I put airbags in the back of my 1992 Subaru, and now I can haul my 34-foot trailer down the road like it's butter. No, life doesn't work that way. You're putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You need to downsize the camper, or you need to upsize the truck. And I know that's a difficult thing. Car prices are stupid. I assume that camper prices, which have always been kind of high, are just as ridiculous and stupid. So I can have sympathy, and I can understand when somebody gets into a situation where maybe they're not adequately informed, and it ends up putting them over there. You're upside down, you're over your head, and that's not a good place to be. You really should have this information locked in before you even go and pursue doing anything like this. Adding airbags alone when you're overloaded is not the solution. It is not going to help you. It's actually going to make you more dangerous on the road. And, a lot of people, especially in campers, again, if you're hauling a trailer, I don't recommend overloading it, but it's a different situation. In campers, it's always people and their family. And I don't care if your family is you and an animal or two or whatever, if it's you and 18 kids, doesn't matter. It's your family. And you're putting that out around other people's families. And I don't know if you guys have seen some of the videos lately of trucks not stopping. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort to stop mass, and when your truck isn't rated to do it, or you're peeking it out, you might be that person that went, okay, well, I can't get this one because of what it weighs, but I can go ahead and step down, and then I'm going to put this TV on the inside, and I'm going to keep this gear on the inside, and I'm going to do this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And you have inadvertently added 1,500, 2,000 pounds to the inside of this camper. That's not good. I would say my uneducated opinion on campers, if you're going to buy one, I would get an empty weight, no more than 3/4 of the total of your tow capacity. So, if you're 10K tow capacity, or let's say 7,500 tow capacity, what's 3/4 of that? I'm bad at math. Let's see here, 7,500. So, right around 5,500 to 5,700 pounds should put you right about where you should stay empty. Then that gives you plenty of ability to kit it out. You can keep your kitchen stuff in there. You can add your propane tanks. You can fill up your water. You can maybe have, if you're leaving the campsite and or leaving the use site, and you don't have immediate disposal of gray water and black water tanks, if you can have that offset weight for those tanks to be in use till you can get somewhere and empty the waste. That's probably the best way to do it. But, I'm a guy on the internet. Ain't nobody gonna listen to me. And I've already stated I don't have them, and I've got no dog in that fight. So, you really aren't gonna listen to me. But, don't listen to the internet and just put bags on it to overcompensate for your overloaded trailer and or undercapacity truck, depending on which way you want to look at it. And don't be a danger to people. That's just stupid. Everybody takes risks. That's fine, but there's some risks that are a little bit bigger than maybe you ought to just be screwing around with. So that's my rant. Everybody get out, have fun, go have a nice day, and do something you like.